Complement what the left have been divided along three basic lines. One is still with the regime, mostly based on the Stalinist left, the traditional Communist Party of Syria. Two branches you have, but they're mostly based in the Stalinist and what we call in Syria the Baghdadi heritage. That has been supportive of the regime despite small criticism at some periods, but very small criticism, and have been part of this progressive national front, which is a coalition of political parties that are just paying lip service to the regime. You have nationalists, etc. They stayed with the regime, but it's interesting to know that a lot of their youth have left them at the beginning of the revolution to join the revolution. So they left the leadership. And their popular base is very, very small. On the second, you have the National Committee of National Coordination Committee that was led by Hassan Manna. It was a coalition of Arab nationalists, leftists, old Action Party. I was at the National Coordination Committee that has lost a lot of popularity within Syria, despite having been an important position before the start of the revolution. It has to also, I didn't say that majority of the left, it is important to know that the Assad regime massively crushed the left that were massive organization within Syria in the 70s and 80s. This is important to know as well as other political parties. And independent trade unions were completely forbidden or crushed, and the trade union inside of Syria were completely controlled by the Assad regime. You have also another left that was basically based, it's mostly all today within also the Syrian National Council or the coalition. Dominated, which is what is called the official Syrian opposition that is basically linked with Western imperialism and the Gulf monarchies. This majority of this left was part of the Syrian Communist Party political bureau of Riyad al-Turk, and you had personalities like Burhan Ghalion was the first Syrian National Council member, or George Sabra, as well, but this opposition problematic has been completely linked to the Muslim Brotherhood that dominates the Syrian National Council and has been not independent from Western imperialism or Gulf monarchy, so it's been hugely problematic. And they don't have a massive popular people on the ground. Finally, you have on the left a massive amount of young activists that have played a key role in local coordination committees that might have not been organized in political groups because it was very difficult and the people organizing political groups were not maybe attractive, but they played a lot of important roles inside of within Syria different local coordination committees. One group that was quite, a youth group that was quite famous was in Rukn al-Din, Syrian youth rebel that made very important demonstrations, etc. These kind of groups were completely crushed by the regime. And as Youssef said in the beginning, the Assad regime actually concentrated on young activists, Democrats, leftists, repressing them. I spoke in 2012, in the summer of 2012, with an exile member of the local coalition committees inside of Syria. He was in France. He told me in 2012 summer, they were at the 6th generation of the leadership. The first 5 were completely or repressed, killed, etc. So, and it's when you hear about hundreds of thousands of people, we don't know where they are, or they have been killed, or they are prisoned. It's true in Syria. It's a production of killing people, etc. I will try to finish on a conclusion saying that this young activist, and despite the crush of the Syrian revolution by the Assad regime mainly, the role of the left outside, is to help these independent activists, Democrats, and to help build within Syria an independent, democratic, socialist front that is independent from the two sides of the counter-revolution, Assad regime and its allies, and Islamic fundamentalism. Because although in Syria we see them opposing themselves, and as well in Egypt today, these two sides of the counter-revolution can also collaborate. And this is what we're seeing today in Tunis. In Tunis, you have a united government of the Muslim Brotherhood and the old regimes. And just to remind you, and although we defend, and I totally support the solidarity of the 20th June with all the political prisoners of Egypt, we shouldn't remember as well that the Muslim Brotherhood did not hesitate to collaborate with the army as well as part of the counter-revolution, because these two sides do not share the objectives of the different popular movements within all the Middle East and North Africa. And also it is very important to understand that the different tools of among the different tools of the counter-revolution, sectarianism has been a key tool. And these two sides of the counter-revolution use it in a very, very important way until now. Wherever you go, being in Egypt, the two sides use it against the Copts or the Shia. And in Syria, you have the Assad regime that has, for 40 years, before the revolution and even after, used sectarianism to divide the Syrian people, and even racism towards the Kurds. And the opposition, some of the Syrian opposition, unfortunately, even the so-called left I was talking about, that is with the Syrian National Council, did not oppose some of the slogans from the Islamic fundamentalist forces or from Gulf monarchies. This is a Sunni revolution. And you had actually opposition from within Syria saying this is not a Sunni revolution, this is a revolution for all the people of Syria. And this also comes to what was talking about Yasser. How do you analyze a popular movement, or how do you analyze a state? It's not in relation to its foreign policies. Because as this Assad regime has been presented anti-imperialist, this is not true, by the way. But even though if it was true, we should analyze the state, the Assad regime, in its policies towards the popular classes of Syria. And when you analyze this, you clearly see that the Assad regime is a mercantile business military complex that is opposed to the interests of the popular classes. And this is how you judge a state and how you judge a popular movement. And the popular movement was mostly based on its popular classes, demanding democracy, social justice, etc. The second thing is that, relating to the analysis of the left, is that imperialism is a system and not limited to one actor. And this is why I don't call these people anti-imperialists. I call them at the best, anti-American. And they don't understand that today imperialism is a system where you have different actors fighting each other, but also agreeing on different issues. And today, the main, for example, when you see the case of Syria, what about the Yemeni solution? USA and Russia disagree only on Assad, Bashar al-Assad. Otherwise, they agree on the rest. They need to keep the regime intact. There's no disagreements on that they have to oppose the revolution, etc. And that in the same time, in this imperialist system, you have some imperialist states that has some autonomy, that play their own role. And in the Middle East, it has been Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey. So I'll finish on this, that this is our key issue. Work for an independent, democratic front, struggling for democracy, social justice, and against sectarianism. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you very much.